Beautiful thing about having children is the constant bluey getting stuck in your head. It's great. Could be worse. All right. Let's get to stepping here on our levels. Get rid of that ES for a little bit. Overnight low is here. Much of the same yesterday. Like I said, digestion day. J Powell must have moved markets a little bit. Talking about no later cuts. This was the low of the day yesterday here. This was pre-market low. Market closed here. So yep, previous day low right there. Watching real time on how I take care of my levels. Previous day high, overnight high. We are opening on the overnight high, which is going to give us a possible look at a short off the jump on the opening range. However, we could be breaking above because second, sorry. There's that overnight high, previous day high, right on that, previous day low, overnight low here, and that's what we're looking for. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Let's take advantage of today. I'm going to run through my quick little pre-market analysis here just to give you kind of a heads up on what I'm looking. Right there, we are in the longer term NQ. I'm going to go into that 30-minute so you can see it a little bit clearer. We this was that. Sorry, it's early for me. 8:30 melt off Monday. Immediately sold off the whole day. Eventually became a sell. It was kind of choppy and quiet until the end of the stream, and then that rollover kind of happened, right? So we are looking right into this 82925 level right here, right? This yellow line has been my key level for some time, and we ran right into it, and we've used it as support for the last couple days, right? We stayed in here. This yesterday was all pretty much, like I said, a digestion day. It stayed within this little, range right here. We are pretty tight with our overnight range, previous day low, previous day high. This wick of this low here, 1 o'clock this morning, seems like a little bit of an accumulation, and that's what's going to keep me out of this immediate short right off the jump here. We are opening right on the overnight high, pre-market high level, which normally I'm going to start looking for as a immediate entry criteria for a reversion trade, either opening on the overnight high or opening on the overnight low. The only thing that's keeping me a little standoffish on it is this wick here at 1 o'clock this morning going into 1:30, recovering that level and now trying to break through the highs again. We're through yesterday's high. Yesterday's, what would you call that? It was the low, right? The level that was right here that we were playing over and over and over again. We're through that and up above. It was not the overnight high. It was the overnight high. That's correct. So it was the overnight high that we played yesterday. Right here, bounce, 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 bounce. And we played a few good trades off of that. After I got off stream, I did take one trade on the other account, made 430. So overall, pretty good day. Today we're looking to make one good trade at a time, see where it takes us. Over this overnight high, over the previous day high, I do think that continuation does come into play up to 18,027.50. 18,027.50 is right around there. So this level here, in that zone could act as that first area of resistance, then up into, that trend line up at 50, even up, if we get into 18,100, that could be the level to watch. So we'll be mindful up into here, these two areas for a long continuation today, right? If we do end up breaking through here, you'll see some sort of push up, probably a failure, Maybe not. It might just run right up. But then you start to run into some chop here, more than likely. If it does give you some sort of basing pattern, a little failure, and another run to 18.1, I think that's probably the high of the day today. I don't see a ton of information giving you that. But also yesterday, Powell mentioned in his speech, right, that he was thinking higher for longer, right? So the ability for the rate cut to come into play is something that's going to be kind of dragging this a little bit from giving that big push to the upside. So we're just going to be mindful, watch it, see what happens. Just checking to see if there's any news that's coming out today, right now. Economy pre-market. Sorry if you hear the lawnmower outside. I hear it just running through. He's mowing. If it's loud, I apologize. Oil prices slide for third day because of geopolitical tensions. China did back Iran in their little spat with Israel, so we are going to be kind of in a bit of a wartime environment, maybe possibly soon. So be cautious. Any sort of releases on those news side of things where you see Iran, Israel, anything like that where the U.S. is going to have to get involved or at least talk about being involved, that's when you're going to start to get a bit of, whippy action on the on these indexes, right? So we are open now. Let's see what happens here. If we can get a bit of, like I said, this is almost the same as yesterday. We need to get over these levels after the open. I can't take this initial break right away. That's not something that I like to do. It's it's a bit much to try and take that right off the jump. If it does go right off, like it just did, so be it. We miss it. We are these two zones yesterday, the yellow zones and the S&P. That was the overnight high, overnight low from the previous day session. So really, it's only been adjusted a little bit. That's the previous day, the overnight low right here, and we opened up right on the overnight high. So to the tick. We're going to be cautious, waiting, watching, seeing what happens with this market. Let it settle in a little bit today, and then we'll go from there. I'm going to start my day with a nice short squeeze espresso here. Watching NVIDIA. NVIDIA opened up, gapped over the close from yesterday, and is holding above 882, but trying to sell off a little bit right now. Microsoft also up above 416.57, so we did catch a little bit of a bid overnight. They closed on lows yesterday, but has rallied a bit overnight. So watching these names in between these levels. Apple is selling once again. Apple loves to sell off. It does have down to 168 even before it decides if it's going to continue to melt off or not. But yesterday tried to get down into there and bounced. Today, let's see if it's going to try and get down there again or not. Apple has just been beaten up since the beginning of the year, so we're just going to watch that. I'm going to keep an eye on Microsoft because Microsoft's been the kind of important level, and NVIDIA will go on the top. But I'm going to keep NVIDIA more 30-minute. No, I'll put it on the 5 for myself so I can just see a little bit more intraday movement. Key levels for today for NVIDIA are 877 to the downside and 892.23 to the upside. And you start breaking 892, you get up into 900. That'll give this NQ a reason to kind of push up into that high where we were talking about that continuation play above 18,000. Looking for one good trade, one good setup, an A-plus type deal. I do like this opening range trade here. 830. We ended up not opening on the high, right? So if it would have been, once again, this setup right here, I look for this right on the high every time. If it opens, a couple candles over here, and we open there, then you could play that breakdown on that flush immediately and catch that back to the VWAP. It seems to play out pretty frequently in my eyes. And Mr. Frias already catching that short, so good on you for front running it from the open. I mean, honestly, like I said, I usually like to play this at the overnight high. Great setup. Everything kind of came into play. It just opened right here, down already below this setup. I wanted to kind of see another wick, another manipulation, play the failed breakout on open. So I like to trade only during market open hours. So even though that's 1 minute prior to open, it's still 1 minute prior because, you get into this, here, and it decides on open that it's going to just jump and rocket, then you're getting run over. So that's something I just try to avoid for myself. Hopefully everybody had a great day yesterday. Looking to capitalize on it today. Make sure you do your planning, your prepping, right? I don't really have levels below here until that overnight, that previous day low down there. We did play this level a lot yesterday, right, where we're sitting right now. That overnight high from 2 days ago, that level was right around here. That was that level there. We'll call it. It was. I believe we were playing like right around that 900-ish, 917 level right there is where everything started to come into play. So we're going to call it 917 to 920. So if we get down into that 920 level, that'll at least give you, maybe if you're playing this long up base 920, we're going to reclaim 920, maybe VWAP, and then maybe rotate through up. But right now we are looking at just sitting at the base of the opening range and kind of looking to try and flush it right here, possibly look to get down to VWAP. There's a good healthy delta push, so this seems like it's going to act nicely for you if you are playing that breakdown. For me, like I said, I don't play that break middle of nowhere, right? That's just keeping me out of trades, which is nice. The more I just stay away from not trading at my levels, the better my execution is, right? Yes, the market's moving right now. Yes, that's a great execution. If you're looking for a breakdown of an area, looking for a continuation with delta, looking for a target, maybe looking to get through VWAP, like a lot of good reasons to take a trade. But for me, like I said, anything too close to VWAP, somewhere that's not really a level. Now if VWAP gets up above 920, 17,920, and then we start to play with that level, maybe base out, then maybe I'll consider taking a short through that 20 level. But it has to be 20, it has to already be below VWAP for that short to even be considered, because that was such a key level yesterday. That's the only reason I would be even considering it for anything today. But you could see we wicked down right below it, grabbed some liquidity. Now we're trying to rotate back. I'm going to be watching that overnight high, watching that previous day high, see if there's going to be rejection or if we're going to get a breakout continuation on the day. So those are the kind of things I look for at the levels. And then if we approach the bottom, I watch the same thing. I watch for either a rejection, a liquidity sweep, something around these key levels, previous day low, overnight low. And if you're either going to play a breakout continuation type play, you have to have a reason for it down here. More than likely, you're looking for a failed breakdown once again, and then a push back to the upside. So that's really, I want to revert back to the mean, catch a portion of the big move, and then, as the account grows, as the size builds up, then you can add contracts, and then that's when you could start to grow even more with your account, right? You can start to make bigger and bigger wins. Taking the same executions, taking everything the same way, just add a little more size, a little more size, a little more size, and then just kind of keep moving. But right now, I kind of just rocking and rolling with one contract since the beginning of April. You can see top of the screen. If you haven't been here before, or if you are here and just haven't been around the stream for a little bit, I switched up everything to make it a little more clean for you guys. I also set it up so everything you see on top shows you what account I'm trading, exactly this is the account that we're trading right now, the 50K funded, Top Step funded account. This is money that I can pull out now because I have made over the amount of days. We've built the buffer up over 2,000. Now the max loss limit is 0, so that number right here will never change. This is your balance, your account balance, your total profit since the inception of the account. This will be realized P&L. So if I have taken any trades on the day, it'll be either be red or green with a number, and that'll show our realized P&L. Right here is unrealized P&L. So if I'm in a position, this will start to change. You'll see, you'll know what I'm doing, what I'm up, when I'm down. And this bar is a daily loss limit bar. This bar shows you how much room you have to play with your account balance and your max daily drawdown, which is 1,000 for me. It's really 2 full losses, which will be about $500. I will lock myself out manually using the manual lockout button right here. And if you see me on a white account, that means I'm on a combine, but I am on these yellow accounts. These are my funded accounts. So that's us actually making good trades. I accidentally, early on in this funded account, I made a really nice trade, but I didn't realize I was on a combine. Like, I clicked around a bit. So if you ever notice that I'm not on a gold, hey, just say something, because I am trying to make money. I'm not trying to earn any more combines at the moment. I will start to maybe set up 1 or 2 more soon, just to have them there. Top Step allows you to have 3 at a time. I already have 2, and the other 3 are kind of just waiting in limbo for me to mess around with the combines. And then I may get a couple of Apexes just for, maximizing my funding, and then also Take Profit Trader. I'm looking at them as well. I've tried it. I've kind of messed around. Some of their rules are a little different than the Top Step rules. So overall, I mean, they all have strengths and weaknesses, but I've just very happy with the way Top Step's treated me over the years. So I'm going to continue with them for the time being, at least as my main accounts, right? All right. If you're over on YouTube, like, subscribe, share it up, hit the little notification thing, let you know when I'm live. Hopefully I'm keeping you out of some chop right now with this conversation about funding accounts and how my setup is all set. If you're on YouTube, click that link that I just posted in the chat. It's always in the bio of the video, whatever that's called, bio or description of the stream. You go over there, click that, head over and get a free 7-day trial and get full access to the entire TradeCaster lobby. Let's go, Kramer. Let's have a day. It's a great day to have a day. Absolutely. I like this setup. However, it just never quite got to my overnight high, previous day high levels. And once again, this VWAP is still holding below that 920 level, which was key yesterday, right? You could see 920 acted as in this absolute chop city mess that we had yesterday. I'm going to draw up a little box just to have it so you can see what I'm talking about. Really, the resistance was here. That was the area. I know it shows above. Those are mainly wicks above. Even if I have it right in that range there, that would be a little bit better for you to see tight on those resistances. But until that VWAP gets up over that purple box, I wouldn't be considering a short through that level, because VWAP's potentially going to support us right around there. I'm looking at tilt only about 58%, so it could continue down. We do not, it's not super heavy on the retail side, so the short is still likely to continue. However, for my setup, for me to take a short anywhere near VWAP, I'd have to be below VWAP. I can't take a short of 920. I could target VWAP. That's only, 13 points. It's good, but it doesn't really give me the ability to, I could take a quick scalp and get onto that VWAP, but it just doesn't maximize my win to loss ratio there. And I'm just not really willing to risk, because the bounce could come at any time and run up on me. So I just threw this purple zone up there just so you could visualize it. Really, I'm trying to trade around these other levels, right? Every day, if you come in, you see my NQ levels. I trade in NQ, so I label those out. I put them out there. The S&P, you'll see the yellow lines are the overnight high and low. So they're very similar to yesterday's levels. This is every day I trade. Previous day high, overnight high, previous day low, overnight low, and VWAP. And that's it. And then you'll see sometimes some liquidity zones that I draw in there. And then as well, I have a trading view chart that has all of my levels for longer time periods that I am interested in. And then once we get around those levels, I will mention them. That has a lot to do with if we do break above this previous day high, targets would end up being where I drew those circles early today, around that 27 mark, and then up into 18,100. That zone right there would be an interesting target if you did break above that previous day high 18,000 and hold. But right now we're kind of just sitting on top of yesterday's consolidation. We popped up. That short right there would have been real nice if it waited one more minute for the open to happen. If you are a VWAP bounce kind of person, this is a nice area to watch just because of that 920 level yesterday, right? That whole support level. You could see all this from the overnight. Look at that chop. And then you got to melt once you got through it, but you were below VWAP, right? So this is a good example of that purple zone kind of acting as a support until VWAP got above the level. And then once you cracked below, you're more confident in using that VWAP to be a resistance as opposed to a support. And then see if we can see it on the same thing on the other side. Pretty much right here, you can see you rally up to it, and then you get into it, that third touch above VWAP, possibly look to run it. And then the rest of the day yesterday was a mess, right? But if you're above VWAP, above, still holds. Once you get that level to creep up into that area, once you get a nice flush, then you possibly can get that continuation. Microsoft still pushing upside, looking to get up into that 419, but NVIDIA still has been heavy, right? So we have a mixed bag of the Mag 7 names currently not giving us a good direction, right? So if NVIDIA is pushing down and Microsoft's pushing up, for us to be sitting pretty much middle of the opening range makes a lot of sense, right? Because it has not yet quite picked a direction on where it wants to go for the day. Even the Russell just got to the high end of the opening range and started to reject, as did the S&Ps. So everything's sitting in the opening range. Everything's sitting middle of the area for the day. So you really haven't got a decision on where the market wants to go yet for the day. My thought process is if this market creeps up into that overnight high again and Microsoft's still creeping up into that 419 and NVIDIA is still either on the lows or just kind of hanging around, you may get the rejection of this overnight high because Microsoft will probably sell off of that 419, which may get NVIDIA to get heavy to get down through 877, which then may give you that follow through on the NQ to roll a bit. But if you start to see Microsoft break through 419, get up into 420, hold that level, and NVIDIA bounce off of the 877 level, then you might get the continuation to push through that high. So these are a couple scenarios that you just got to look at. And that's really all I look at with these equities. Kind of Apple looking to wick above 170, wicked it 3 times, and is still just kind of holding just below 170.30. So Apple also pushing upside. That inverse correlation between NVIDIA and Apple seems to be working out right now. You can see if you go over to those charts, I'll put them up on the screen, right? NVIDIA right there pushing downside, Apple pushing up. It seems that every time money flows out of NVIDIA, it flows right into Apple, and vice versa. If you start to see Apple sell off, a lot of times you'll start to see NVIDIA try to catch a bid, right? So, and they're both at key levels. So if this is going to be a spot where it's going to make a decision, then you might want to pay attention to that, right? Pay attention to it on if you're an equities trader, that may be an area for them to turn around. With NVIDIA catching a spot to bounce at 877, it got a little bit of a tick up. And Microsoft is not quite at 419 yet. So we're watching it. You also watch this S&P, because if it can crack 5120 and push up, then we're a ways away from our overnight high on the NQs, which may lead us to try and play catch up. If it rejects that overnight high and starts to roll, then you might get the follow through on this. Market's been open for about 15 minutes and we've gone nowhere. You don't have really high volume. You don't have a lot of volatility going on right now. Economic calendar wise, today is Wednesday. You don't have any even 2-star impact events. Everything here is mortgage rates, which is which goes down up and down every day basically. applications. There's no forecasts. There's no consensus. It's just data, right? Which means that they don't really even care. The only other news that you're going to get on the day is that oil at 9:30, which comes every Wednesday. So if you trade oil, be mindful of that oil number coming out. And then you get the Fed speakers post-market. So tomorrow, jobless claims, that'll move us. It's pre-market. Then you have a couple of Fed speakers throughout the day. So NVIDIA broke through that 877 level with a little bit of force, right? It cracked it. It went from 877 to 875 like that. So pre-market support right there at 875.50. And then if it does flush that pre-market low, yesterday's close, which just came in. So it just closed the gap. NVIDIA starting to roll. Microsoft still holding up a little bit stronger. It's still green on the day. Money's flowing out of NVIDIA, but there's a reason. I believe it. Somebody else had a earnings today, which one of their chip brethren had some earnings and it was down a little. Soxel down. The whole sector. AMD selling off. SSDI selling off. All right. NVIDIA selling pretty good. Is Apple bidding up? Yes, it is. So there's that correlation still playing out. Very nice to see. I don't have, like, this is why I don't play that short through 20 right on VWAP. That rejection is more likely to hold. It's more likely to hold up here on the VWAP. You know, if it's going to break VWAP, the times it breaks it, it usually will just melt right through it. It doesn't kind of linger on top of it. Yes, it could right now. It always can do something slightly different than what you anticipate it to do. But it's still not a trade that I'm willing to take myself. And then with this being said, if it does flush this area and start to rotate downside, push through these lows, you know, get down through 17,890 and start to give you some good selling, I can't really be involved until I get to that previous day low area because I just don't have any good information for myself to maximize my my trade. You know, risk to reward, limiting my risk, getting really good execution points. So, yes, we're holding below VWAP at the moment. Could we just tick right back up? Absolutely, especially with NVIDIA, you know, now selling into that range from yesterday. Microsoft selling. Everything's starting to push downside. This is getting heavy here. Be cautious around this level right there. Just crack that low, 890. So that overnight high sell, once again, showing its hand. If it opens anywhere near it and you get that good divergence set up, you are in shape. Even pre-market, like if you could execute right there pre-market, that's 2 days in a row or even 3 days in a row where we opened at the level, got, you know, try to make new highs on it, flat delta right at our overnight high. Might as well just give that shot at a short and see where it takes you. Russell's still in the opening range, and S&P's still closer to the opening range than the NQs. I would like to see a bounce, kind of drag this VWAP up with it over this purple zone, and then maybe take the secondary flush through that 20. That is a trade that I would be sort of interested in. I could limit my risk right to the top end of that purple zone. If VWAP just gets above it, just tighten my stop just above there, and the next good flush through 20 I could play. But like I said, I can't enter a short through a level so close to VWAP. S&P is still sitting on top of the VWAP, right? So you could see S&P is a little bit more relatively strong. Not sure if anybody's executed anything yet. Obviously, you can see there are opportunities that have come in. I just don't have my setup, so I don't enter. The best thing that I've been doing of late is just being able to come into here every day and just execute around my levels, and that just keeps me way more risk averse, able to maximize my gains a lot better. And if I do get wicked out, stopped out, it's usually not for a full loss. So I can, for the most part, just kind of take the trades I see when they show themselves and be fine. Currently, when I do this, my stats show that I'm, since the beginning of April, got an 87% winning percentage. So that is not too shabby. Can't hate on that. But that's because I'm being really, really patient, waiting for those A+ setups and only executing on those and just going for it, right? Yesterday we took a couple more trades than we normally would. Every day we've been taking 1, 1, 1. Yesterday we took 6. One real loser. The rest of them were chipping back until we caught into that one nice win to end the day. So I'm going to be cautious around here for you for any sort of continuation. 890 was this low here. There was some accumulation, right? There's a good reason why this might bounce from here. A few times it's bounced, once, twice, 3 times now, probably 4 times. Also, you could see S&P's holding above VWAP. Microsoft got right into that 416 level, which was a key support zone. So it could catch a bounce. It could push one more little bit leg down and then bounce off of 416.50. And then NVIDIA also just, I know it flushed lows here, but it does a lot of things on its own where if it gets back above 877, this thing could go to 900 in a day. So just be cautious at this 890 level. This is where you would expect some consolidation. You would expect some chop and even potentially a spot where a bounce could come in. So that's what we're looking at. Yeah, over the course of April, we have 10 traded days. We did not trade last Thursday, last Friday. I may not trade tomorrow. I'm doing a overtime today. I'm going into work at 2, and I'm working until 6 a.m. tomorrow. So, and then I got to go into work at 2. So by the time I get home, close my eyes for 5 minutes, I might not be able to get onto stream. So tomorrow may be a no stream, no trade day. So we're going to try and maximize our opportunity here today before we have to get off. If we don't find anything, we don't find anything. It's cool with me. Overall, like I said, we are eligible for a withdrawal. You can see our balance up here. I am going to try and build it up even more a little bit before I take that first payout this week. And then when I go through the payout steps, I'm going to just kind of go through them, show you that it is possible to withdraw from these funded accounts. So you get a, realistic, true, transparent, honest stream out of this. Get to learn a little bit about how these prop firms work and all that and payouts. So like I said, it's 10 days traded so far. Of the 10 days, we're 90% winning. We only lost one day where I locked myself out on purpose. And I did mention that day, I mentioned the day after. I said, if I could do that, and that's, I learned my lesson that day on, hey, don't hit your max loss limit. Lock yourself out on purpose. Set your own personal daily losses, because the next day, that first trade can cancel out all of those losses and then some. So there's no reason to kind of just try and grind back and overdo it. If you hit your personal daily loss limit, lock yourself out, close your computer, turn it off, and go walk away. I really think that that's a turning point in your career for sure. So learning that lesson that day, that losing day that I did have, I limited it. I get myself into trouble over the history of my trading career. It is always because either tilt comes in or where I'm at a point where I feel like I have to make money back, right? So if I ever start to feel that, I'm just going to try and lock myself out of the account and go walk away and do something else, or just go, trade tomorrow, because obviously that day you're not seeing it. Because it's just a proven thing. If I could stick to my levels, my win percentage is up there in the 80s, I'm not going to say it's at that high. I think it's a little bit lower than that, because I'm not going to count break evens as winners, but just the more I can execute around levels, wait for setups, and just go, having that extreme winning percentage, right, in that level where I could go 1-to-1, 2-to-1 on a daily basis and be very happy with my returns. So the days that I do lose, just walk away, right? If you take 2 full losses, you get to that max limit. If I end up taking, 1 full loss, chip back away, take a second full loss, I'm not quite at that $500. Maybe I just shut it down before I even get there, right? You got to just have a good feel for what you're looking at on the day. Start to recognize the tilt. I notice it if I start to get hot. I start to get like a feeling, that inner voice starts to come out where you're just like, I need to do this. That's when I need to hit that lockout button and get out of here. You just got to recognize that within yourself and try your best to avoid letting that guy take over. It's the Jekyll and Hyde, right? If anybody has any questions, concerns, comments, let me know. Type it up in the chat. I'm willing to talk about stuff while I'm trying to avoid messing around in the middle of this, my 2 zones. I really don't want to execute in here. I'm talking about Microsoft just wicking 416.57 and bouncing right back above. You got NVIDIA, who is holding the pre-market low now. They wicked the pre-market low here at 869, we'll call it, 869 even. That got wicked. Trying to recover that. If that can come back up, you may recover this, rotation back upside. But all in all, it's still heavy. S&P's just broke VWAP, so potentially looking to see if this will now push a bit heavier, right? S&P's have been leading us in the directionality and the levels, right? If the levels hold on the S&P, it seems like the levels in the NQ are going to hold. We learned our lesson on that yesterday, trying to play a breakdown, follow through, where I added a contract through my low, and then once the S&Ps hit that overnight low, it bounced, and the NQ turned right around as well. So with the S&Ps breaking through VWAP now, you possibly can see this NQ give you some follow through. And then once we get down close to that previous day low, if we can get there, then I may be interested in watching for a bounce play. Microsoft looking to flush through that 416.50 again. NVIDIA holding middle of this area, holding that pre-market low. Once again, very happy, appreciative that everybody comes in here, stops by. I love having a community around to be able to just throw these ideas out off of. Everybody on YouTube, everybody on Tradecaster. It's a great little community where we can, learn and grow together. Obviously, everybody is far from perfect in this trading world. It's almost impossible to be perfect trading, right? Some of the best traders in the world making millions, billions, and then losing it, right? It's all about managing your emotions and managing your setups and just recognizing when things stop working or when they start working to try and maximize what you could do out of that setup or what you're doing, right? So for me right now, understanding that I can't trade in the middle of these zones is what helps me stay sane, right? And if it doesn't get to those zones, then I can't execute, and what is there to be mad about, right? That's just, I'd rather sit here and watch it and make zero instead of hammer into the middle and lose, right? So, which just kind of just this type of day where you got to be patient and wait. As I mentioned, this setup right here is what I look for. This is exactly what I look for, right? I'm right here. You're coming into the day. right? We're pushing in. Overnight high was made pre-market right there, right when we were about to open. This candle here is 823. You start to see it creeping back up. We wick above that area, so it creates a new overnight high. I look to see that fail, right? Lack of volume, but it is still pre-market. So for me, I don't like to trade pre-market. I wait for that open. Instead of because I waited for the open, that next candle, this is come 8:28, so 2 minutes to market open. We flush through that rising wedge after failing to break out. That's the setup I look for on if the market was open, because it usually just limits my risk and you can get pretty good continuation right away. And then once again, bang, market opens, immediate sell-off. I just would have liked to have been in and ready to go right there. I just don't have that pre-market idea, but it is good. It still works. I'm just a little cautious on it on a day where I'm not sure if we're going to break out and continue on, right? But obviously, since that point, you're selling off right to that previous day low. So let's see what happens around here. I'm going to start to get interested down at these previous day lows. Just kind of looking at these areas, see what kind of oh, I don't want that. Boy, there we go. See what happens around this chop. This is going to be an important level here. This 43. That's previous day low right there. 40. Because we shorted 37 yesterday, looking for that follow through. Didn't get it. So we're going to watch that 43. But that previous day low is really where we're going to watch. You could get that bounce right here because of that low from a couple days ago. But the way this is so heavy, I'm not going to say that that's going to happen. S&P's yesterday's low is all the way down in that area. So pretty much these yellow zones for the S&P are the most important for them. Microsoft still selling off. NVIDIA still pushing down to that next level below is 863.74. See, this setup here was nice, right? Also, aside from this breakdown, this purple zone, I just drew it up to show you that it is a zone that's important from previous couple days. I wasn't going to trade it unless this VWAP. VWAP needed to be up above 920 for me to be interested in the short. Obviously, it didn't need to be because it just broke right through it and ran. But in my history of trading, the amount of times I've tried to play that and it fail on me is more than the times where I would wait for it to get above and then play it. So still just not an A+ setup. It's more of a B- type setup that I just don't want to execute on. I want to execute on pretty much A+ setups at all times this week. And then, as I build even more, maybe we'll execute on some of those. But really, I still want it to be an A. I don't want it to be. Why would I get myself involved in this if I think it's going to fail? Just patience today. Really got to wait, let this thing go. I am going to watch it to see if it's going to be a continuation through the low or if it's going to do the divergence that we like to see that we got up there, right? We are watching delta, cumulative delta. I know. So I don't know the difference between delta and cumulative delta. So if there is I know there are two different indicators across certain platforms. The cumulative delta is the daily amount of buyers and sellers, right? So you can see there's a zero line. Right now there's more sellers in control. However, the buyers are trying to step back in to get back up. I don't know if the regular delta is just like that candle by candle. I don't know. I just use cumulative. So if you do have a question about it, try and use the cumulative delta for what I'm talking about if you are going to try and use that. I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't know what certain platforms use. I use AMP, and I know Tradovate also. They both use cumulative delta. If you can find those, they both have it. Just watch. I'm over here on this AMP brokerage, just checking the delta, seeing what kind of push we're going to get up in through here. We do also have the volume profile here, which shows that the value area low is 883. So 883 is the value area low. could, that breakdown of that also helped the selling. 883 to 890 could get reclaimed, but also be mindful that it's still going to be below VWAP, so possible continuation on it still to the downside from that area if it does bounce up to that. All right. Trying my best to give you entertainment and some value here while I stay out of trades. Everything we do here is streamed live. Everybody on Tradecaster.com streaming all their trades live daily. So if you're bored with me not executing here and you want to see me stay out, or you want to hear what I have to say about certain things fundamentally, then stick around. If you want to dance around Tradecaster, check out some of the other guys who are trading equities, trading some other stuff. They're trading options, trading regular stock market names, large caps, small caps. You can click around, take a look, see what's out there. But for now, we're just trying to stay out of the chop. You can see this is the indexes in relative to each other, percentage of the day. NASDAQ still up 0.2%. S&Ps and Dow. Everybody looking for something to trade. Want to get to this previous day low. You're seeing these bounces at these levels. These are people trying to get in, trying and get long at these levels. It's just not quite ready yet for me. Obviously, we're not seeing that. We're not at our level yet, so this setup does not matter. You're going to watch these kind of trend line break type moves here, right? You also see the support area, right? Creating this tight channel here on the 1 minute, right? You're going to create this push downside here. If you need some trading fuel, head over to daytradingcoffeeco.com. The link is in the chat. It is coffee for traders by traders. You'll see me drinking it on stream every single day, and it is fantastic. We have everything from espresso to decaf and everything in between. 10 different roasts. Everything's roasted on order, so you're getting the freshest coffee delivered right to your door. And then you got the fun swag. You got the mugs. I am developing K-Cups, so look out for the K-Cups coming soon for those of you who drink out of those. But right now, we are approaching our levels. See if we can get some sort of divergence here, maybe a flush, a bounce, another flush, and then get that delta divergence and play the break back to VWAP on a rotational day. I don't know if this is going to be another sell-off. After J-Pow talked yesterday, you didn't get... let's go back to yesterday, right? Jerome started talking here. That's where this whole fuckery came around. You pushed down, you pushed back up, you ripped up. Still just a ton of manipulation. to go nowhere, right? Eventually, this is where he started talking. This is where he finished talking. A bunch of nowhere, right? So you would expect that that information that he got yesterday, gave out yesterday, was going to be digested that day. It really wasn't. Or if it was just a whole lot of nothing, like I mentioned it was going to be. So today, maybe we get more of that consolidation. It's 9:13. Have 0 executions on the day so far, just purely based on our setup not being there. This yellow VWAP line needed to be up over that 920 for me to consider shorting through that purple zone as a A-type setup, not what it ended up being. So we are going to watch this previous day low as a level of support. NVIDIA and Microsoft both at areas of interest for bounces. So could be interesting to see if this previous day low gets flushed here. And if it breaks back above, if we can get long for just a quick little move. Maybe not a full rotation, but at least that. Also, like I mentioned yesterday, if you're a market maker and you want to take this market long, maybe this thing gets down below that overnight low, because that flush of that low gets shorts involved. You have a ton of liquidity, I'm sure, sitting right here looking to get short. Watch the manipulation. That's why I play a lot of these fades, right? Because you're looking for what does the market need to go the other direction. So most of the time what the market needs, these market makers or anybody who has huge size that they need to fill to get in a direction, right? Where can they execute, right? I'm only executing one contract. At most days I'm trading at, if I'm got a good buffer, I'm 3 to 5. I'm okay with that size. These people are trading hundreds of contracts. They need to get hundreds of contracts filled. And where are you going to fill that? You're going to fill that on breakout plays. So they're going to try and fill their longs as everybody's trying to fill their shorts. So they're going to try, or vice versa. If they're going to try and fill their shorts, they're going to try and do it at areas where there's a ton of liquidity sitting. And for them, they can see these order blocks, right? If I can see this, right, then they can see it. Oops. Surface down. Where is it? Give me a second. I don't know where it is. Give me. If I can see this, then they can see this. And they probably have much better book maps than I do, right? So if they can see this book, if I can see this, then they can see way more. They can probably see the sizing, understand where these people are. These people are sitting here. These are large orders just sitting here waiting to get filled. What's that? 72 lot. That's a 72 lot. The colors, indicate size. This is showing you a larger size getting filled, right? If you could see this liquidity, I just understand that where they are just based on, price, because I can do that now, after years of looking at it. But you can see below these levels, there's some liquidity sitting there waiting to get filled. Are they going to look to go long or short? It doesn't matter to the big guy who needs to get thousands of contracts off. He's just looking to get filled, right? So this is showing you more buyers and sellers, bigger seller, right? And then you're seeing the size on the book kind of just sitting there. So that's what these guys are seeing, but in a bigger light, right? So where are they going to get filled? They're going to get filled where all those orders are sitting. That's their best way to go about it. So didn't quite wick our previous day low here, so I'm not A+ yet. I still don't trust this bounce to be true. Get this down here. Watching NVIDIA. NVIDIA's bouncing. Microsoft bouncing. I did mention those guys are at two areas, right? You can see NVIDIA right at that 863.74 level looking to bounce. Wicked it twice. Trying to hold. And then you also have Microsoft there, right there, trying to wick that bottom as well. So watch those levels for bounces, which also leads us to where we're at right now. Could possibly bounce. If you get this to wick that previous day low, fail it, come back up above 820. The 20 levels love to be tested and rejected. You get through that 20 level and hold, a potential break back to the VWAP is a good possibility. If it breaks here and goes, good for it. We missed it. I didn't miss anything because I didn't get my full setup. And then if you look, I want to look at the delta here. Delta's kind of flattening out, but still on the lows. Still heavier on the delta, pushing lower as price is trying to push higher. So there is still some sellers looking to get filled here to maybe push it down one more time. Although if we do break the low, then this delta is already down through the lows, so there's a chance that it gives you some follow through. So I may not be playing that previous day low. I may be looking more so at that overnight low. We are at a key level, so I am going to stick here for a few minutes before trying to run to the bathroom for a second. My overnight low is 17,778 even. That's the wick of this candle right here. It wicked down right to that low there. Yeah. 17,778 even. Right there. You have a different number there, Ray, or no? As I mentioned, I think this, it's give or take a tick. I use the even number because it's just where it ended up getting drawn up, but same zone. Delta is starting to curl. Price is starting to not give you that hard follow through, but you will see this probably give you a nice little pop down once you get to that overnight low again, because the Russell is looking to crack its low, had an inside 5 looking to break down. S&P also has a little bit of ways to go, but there is some support here at 50.93 and a quarter. So if it breaks through that, then watch out. But Russell looking to kind of create another inside 5. If it could get that break of the downside, then it's possible that the rest of these kind of go as well. This is where you watch this break as well for that push. You watch that. Hold. Break, flush this, and then try to pop back up. That's really what I'm looking for. Microsoft, though, just breaking through 414. Still trying to hold it, 414.90. And NVIDIA is up over that 863.74, catching a little bit of a bid. So if this does hold and just rotates up on us, then I don't really have a setup there, right? I don't have that full, tilts a little heavier long, which is interesting to me at 56% long. So showing that retail is expecting a bounce here. I'm kind of thinking that maybe it would kind of push down further, like I said, either through the previous day low. I'm more so inclined to think that it gets to that overnight low based on the way this delta is getting heavy, right? You can see broke through, heavy delta. There's no divergence there. There's actual, sellers just continuing to step in. So the break of this previous day low could induce some more selling. And I'm just not going to be looking to take that bounce play right here, right now. This is why, I use that delta to my advantage to help myself decide if the break of the previous day low is going to be a continuation or if it's going to be a bounce play, right? So if you got pretty good volume here, you're right on it, S&P is a little bit away from their level, but like I mentioned, just cracked through that level as well. So if it breaks through here and holds, then the rotation down still keeps coming. I think that heaviness on the S&Ps does lend this to kind of continue down as well, and so is Microsoft, and so is Nvidia. So everything is showing heaviness. This is more than likely to go down into this overnight low, as opposed to our rejection mean reversion trade here, right? So that's what keeps me out. That's what I'm waiting to see, what kind of movement we get here. You're starting to see a bit of a pop in Delta. If we get price to get back up into here, you need Delta to be up higher for you to say, okay, that's where we're going to go. But price is continuing trying to hammer this lower end of the VWAP and just not following through. But I do think that follow through is coming. The heaviness is there. No, the S&P's failed its break. Microsoft wicked that low and bounced. I want one more push. If you can get one more push down through this, this level here, then possibly this divergence comes into play, because then you start to see some more information. But Delta is pushing upside. You are trying to make new highs. Didn't make a new high in price, but did make a new high in Delta. So there are buyers trying to step in here, trying to hold this up, but not quite ready to go yet, I think. I think we need to wait on one more push down before we try to play the bounce. If we're wrong and it rips up right now, then okay. But there's something about the way the heaviness at that low was talking to me that I didn't want to be involved yet. But if we played that bounce right there, you could see clearly took no heat on it. Above 20 to 40, you're up 20 points. And now pushing. So just that little bit of Delta heaviness, as well as the S&P breaking through its lows, kept me out of that long, where I normally would look for this to be my key setup here, push through, get down. But I think we do have one more leg downside, so I'm hoping that this fails one more time. Gives me that more confidence to be down here and then take that long. But looks like it's trying to catch a bid here. Bam, missed it. But I think I'm gonna stick to my guns. This was just shy of an A+ setup. The Delta divergence was just not there, and that held me out of the trade. Heavy long tilt, so there's a chance we do rotate back down one more time. 71% on the tilt. Hey, look at that beautiful bounce off that previous day low. I mean, you can't get much cleaner than that. S&P is looking to get up into their VWAP. NASDAQ not quite there. So just watch for that. Does the next push through give you actually a breakdown with some volume? If you break through here with volume now that you've came up and took out some of these stops here, potentially could look to rotate it through and give you a nice flush. I don't know if I want to take the short through here yet, though. Could be a nice short through that previous day low right to the overnight low, and then look for a bounce off the overnight low. That could be the play here to kind of catch both ends of it. but I have to watch the deltas, right? Good, strong push up. Price looking to reject. I did mention that tilt was in the 70s, so that's why it probably slowed down. If it starts to get back to normal 50-50, it's ticking up even higher, 73%. I think we get a bit of a sell here, back maybe into that previous day low based on the tilt, based on the delta, and then we'll see what happens at the low. $9.28, so 2 more minutes. The market will be open for 1 full hour. It'll give you that kind of an idea of what it wants to be doing on the daylight today. Seems still kind of inside, sort of rangy. It has just been a straight sell from the open. So this bounce here at the previous day low is anticipated. That's why we like to play it. I just, most of the time I want that full extension down to that either overnight low or overnight high. Previous days levels have been playing strong over the last week. So we're going to be using those to our advantage today. I want to say that a short through the low. What did I say the level was for S&Ps? That S&P low there is this level here. So I'm going to give you a little box on the S&Ps that I'm going to be interested in. Right there. A break of that again probably gives you a nice little flush. Volume's ticking up. Not really crazy high, but you can start to see it's higher than the previous candle, and it's all sellers. 73% long. You have a bounce, a base in price, a base in delta. Delta's trying to tick up. Price is trying to tick up. Everything kind of acting together. The only thing different, Russell is selling as opposed to the NQ and the ES, which are trying to get bid back up. So Russell acting heavy. We do have down to, for the Russell, I would consider this 980 level as important. 980.70. That was wicked. 980.40. If you get through 980, you'd probably get down to 975 on the Russell, which might, the small caps might drive us around today a little bit, especially with Microsoft and Nvidia both heavy. I mean, from the jump, they've been selling off. So maybe if we get through this previous day low, we get to the overnight low, and this is just a liquidity grab above to just continue the selling. I would consider, I was mentioning a bounce play here. However, I mean, Delta is pretty high up still as far as I'm concerned. You might get a higher low in Delta. Might get a true bounce. If you get like a good hold, a good hold at that previous day low, we got to just see what kind of action we get there. If we start to push back up towards VWAP, I'm going to take a quick second, walk off, use the restroom real quick, check on some things, and then be right back. But I just need to see what's going on. It's 9:31, so we've been open for an hour and 1 minute. So I kind of want to see if price is going to do a little dance down here, or if it's going to pop, or if we're just going to get that downside continuation to continue on. Let's see what I have on my NQ chart here. That 830, right? 829 and a quarter. 829 and a quarter. That is my key level, right? That we've been playing with. So another break of this is another break of that level, which could lead us to some more downside to that overnight low. But that does lead to some bigger sells coming in. A hold below that 829 because we have been basing. Look at this base, right? This is the one we're looking at. We rallied down. We had a huge push down. We took our digestion day yesterday. We chopped around overnight. We tried to break it once. Tried to break it just now. We caught a little bit of a bounce. I think potentially a break of this low and a break of this low leads us to some heavy selling. So I would just be cautious because there's nothing in between these two levels, right? For a while. You got nothing behind that, right? So there's some empty space down here below. I am going to look to short through the previous day low just based on that chart, that heaviness, that base, that low level. Let's see if we can get that follow through that 820. You flush this. Then you do some damage. All right, give me 1 second. I'm going to be right back. Hopefully this market holds up for 2 minutes on me, and I can be quick. All right, 829 quarter held again there, but I think if we can get through it, let's see what happens here. Had to run quick. Apologize. 74% tilt long side. Let's see. Delta starting to curl. Price tried to make new lows. Delta did not. It's holding up some at 25. Alrighty. Is this market ready to go now or not? That's the question. Or is it another bounce? Is it more rotation? Is it still going to stay flat? Really if I'm timing it correctly, if this is the time where it wants to get heavy and get heavy fast, once, twice, third time touching 30, a flush of the previous day low could enter into some of those sells. So I mentioned the sweep of the low for people who want to get long. As I mentioned, there's the sweep of the low for people who want to get long. There's the continuation if they want to get short, and the cleaning up of this overnight low. So all of that leads me to believe that this next touch through here probably is a short instead of a long. So there's some heaviness. All right, we'll probably end up short here. This is the key level for S&Ps. If S&Ps breaks through this purple zone, then we break through the previous day low here and probably down into at least the overnight low. We'll set the alarms coming soon. I want this thing to get to the overnight low and then maybe consider looking to. I'm going to give you the alarms, see if this will play out. Give it to me. Run the sirens, baby. Run the sirens. See if this breaks through or if it holds this previous day low here. If it breaks through, it should give us a heavy volume. Volume's ticking up. Volume's ticking up. Let's see what Delta's doing. Delta's acting in our favor here. Starting to get heavy. Let's see if we can get through it. If it bounces here, we don't get filled. Cool. All good. But if it does break it I think we get a heavy break. Microsoft just did a double bottom on that little 416, 414.92 level. Running the sirens. Running the sirens. Oh yeah, it's a new feature over the last few weeks. If I'm gonna get into a position, it runs. If I'm in a position, I run it. I just use it as an alert. Right now, just running it out there. I'm gonna turn it off for you. Oh, there we go. Top Step X. It always does that if I'm on the wrong chart. Sirens off for now. If we get filled, I'll run them again. But that was just an alert as we approached our entry. You can see how this previous day low acting as that good resistance. If it breaks, if it does crack, we should get some good follow through. Microsoft looking to break through its low. The NQ, as I mentioned, I think we have at least down to that overnight low with a break of this. However, if this gets really heavy quick because of the break of the key level that I have as 829 and a quarter, we'll call it 830. If it could get and hold below that 830, then that rotation down is pretty heavy. However, it is a good bounce point as well. So it could just be another rotation back to the high of up to almost 18,000 from here. So I'm using this as a base, low base breakdown. After that big leg down, possibly look for that secondary leg to the downside after the selling started on Monday. So just could be a negative week. See if that was a stop run. See what's going on with Delta. Delta flattening out, looking to get heavy possibly. There we go. Price getting heavy on both the NQ. Microsoft is getting heavy. S&P is getting heavy. I'm still here, still waiting. My entry is there. You see it. I'm going to risk probably just above this candle if it does break. 30 would be my stop. If I can get NVIDIA down to 850, that would help this as well. Microsoft bouncing from there. NVIDIA bouncing from 863.75. This S&P is not quite ready to go yet, but when it does, it should carry us down. I ran the sirens a little premature. We didn't get filled, but we were probably a tick away. Good thing we didn't, because we would have stopped ourselves out at 30 there. We are looking to see if this is just going to be a little tiny shoulder, head, shoulder, little base pattern here. There's a lack of follow through on the bounce, so that's another good telltale sign here that this possibly wants to continue to roll over. You are basing on your delta, not making new highs. Everything that tries to get bid up kind of sells off. Watching it, waiting for it to get a little heavier. This is patience playing here. Microsoft holding for 1492. NVIDIA holding 863.74. S&P's holding above that 50.93, but looking like it wants to get heavy right here. Like I said before, these are just kind of like weak bounces off the low. You would anticipate a bounce off the previous day low to give you something like this. You didn't get it. So this basing here seems like it's an accumulation to want to sell us off a bit more. It's a little cold in my apartment. I got the sweatshirt on. A nice Texas day outside, about 80 degrees, I think, probably. It is 9:42, so we're still in good shape. We don't have to pause on that 5 minute before the hourly close. That's usually when I go and pause my trading for that little tiny bit of time. Let this thing get heavy. I want to be right, and I want to be right quick. I want this thing to flush. I like this as a divergence type deal for the long from the previous day low, but I really wanted it down at the overnight low for the divergence play because it just felt like 73, 76, it's getting heavy long tilt wise. There's a lot of retail trying to get long off the previous day low, which tells me that it kind of should just continue on to the downside, right? And I'm not saying I'm not retail. I'm just saying that's what that information is. This is most traders are wrong most of the time, right? If you think of it that way, 73% trying to get long at a key level where we could possibly break down and melt off. So I'm trying to be as patient as possible, let that thing break through this level with some force, because I feel like if this buyer gives up here, S&P is now trying to hold below that 92. That should hopefully get us to follow through. Microsoft also breaking its low. NVIDIA having a lack of follow through on the bounce. All signs point to short. And not even, it doesn't have to go crazy. Short from here to that overnight low is a good potential win there. I'm going to trail my stop as we approach that overnight low because it could get a bounce from there. However, if it breaks through there, there's a lot of downside for this. So I'm going to be mindful of that. Kind of maybe if we get through that overnight low, trail to 778, just above that, 780, and then kind of let that thing dictate where I want to trail, see how much I can get out of it before I stop myself out. That's the goal if it does work out. If not, we'll be wrong above 30 because I think if we do break this low here, we shouldn't get back above 30. Yeah. Flattened out delta. Price is not getting any follow through on a bounce. All the bounces seem to be heavy. If you get a breakthrough here with the delta getting you a nice little flush, I mean sellers are coming in. Orders are getting filled. If you're a cheater and you want to cheat on it, you could have got short through 30. Limit your risk, the high side there. If you have a little bit of a wider stop up to the high end of that little wedge. Just above 42, 43 there. If it doesn't feel heavy to you, I don't know what you're looking at. It just feels like there's that lull before the storm. Maybe it's a short squeeze. Maybe we have some short squeeze action going on here. However, I think the likelihood of there being a sweep of the overnight low, if it's going to be a short squeeze, would be more likely. I think the max pain is another leg down, right? Everybody trying to buy this thing up from lows. Max pain is one more leg to the downside before you get people to say, oh, I'm going to short it now, and then pop it to the high side, right? You got to just kind of think in those terms of what would hurt the most for more people, and that's what you're looking to try and just catch a little piece of. Microsoft caught a bounce. Could be just, like I said, an accumulation, short squeeze here. It's holding nicely, but it just feels like if it breaks, whichever way it breaks, it feels like it's going to go pretty good from here. If I'm on the right side of it, I'll get filled and get trailed down to the overnight low pretty quick. If I'm not on the right side of it, we probably don't ever get filled, right? And it just runs up to the VWAP from here right now. What is the delta telling me? There's buyers stepping in. You can see them stepping in. Price starting to bid up a little bit. Are we getting any follow through on it? You need that delta. If you're going to push up into here with price, you need delta to get up there. Otherwise, that's false breakout. Try to get some of those longs involved. And then roll it over. 76% long tilt. If that creeps into the 80s, I want to see that thing fail. People wonder why I stop in. I just like to be right quick. I don't mind about a little bit of slippage, because usually if I could get stopped into my order, I'm right, and it goes, and it'll, I can limit my risk. Unless it really slips me really hard, then I have a good sell going on, so I'm really not worried about it. You are getting a little curl up, a little bit of a curl up. Tilt is in the 80s, so potentially looking to get more of those longs involved. Nvidia trying to break back up as well. Microsoft bounced, a lot of bounces going on. Just kind of watching it. Normally, like I said, I play that divergence, push off the bottom, fading that low, but I don't like to play the previous day lows. More like the overnight lows. Should probably put some socks on. Or turn my air conditioning off. Either one. What in the world just happened? I hate when that happens. Clicking through, checking things. Delta did push up. Price trying to make new highs. Delta right there. But you got a decent seller coming in here at that negative 2200 mark. What does the book map look like? Do we have any big sellers up here? 56 lots. 120 lot sell right there. That's interesting. I want to see what happens here. Now, if we get filled on this short here, and it whips us out, then that long possibly comes in. But I think that this touch of this previous day low possibly gives you that flush. That's why I have that heaviness there, right? I have that sell order there because I do believe that if it breaks this, it gets to the overnight low, probably less than a minute or so. I mean, that's really what I'm looking for, is something like that kind of quick move. If it does it, great. If not, we get stopped out above 30. Great. Either way. Could cheat on it, like I said. If I was a gambling man, a break of this 30 level here brings us downside. You can see heaviness coming in. Bang, bang. Let's go. Break it out. Let's go. Come on now. Give me the sirens. Give me the sirens. Give me the sirens. Let's go. Stop above 30. I'll take it down here. If it gets below this low, we should get down to the overnight low. Come on now with the flush. Give it to me. Give me the flush. You see that S&P break? Look at that beautiful crack through that low. I think we got this to break down now. Here we are. Let's go. 1-to-1, break even. I don't care. Let's do it. I'm going to trail it down to that overnight low. I said less than a minute probably we'll get there. If you pay attention to what I'm talking about, then you can make these educated choices on your trading. Realistically, I didn't do anything complicated. I talked you through exactly why the flush would come in here. I would be very careful if the overnight low flushes. If you are long, get out, because that overnight low break could give you some really heavy selling coming in. I think that 778 number gets tagged. If it gets tagged, I'm getting right up on it. I'm not going to be mad about grabbing another $500 day, but I do want to give it a little bit of tickle room here. That just above 800, I'll be right now. I'm just above 800. We're at 800. If we can crack through this overnight low, I'm going to put my stop just above it. There we go. I'm going to get myself another 500 bucks today. We're up 700 on this short here. The flush of the low, I may get stopped out on it, but I said that's my target, so I get close to it. I get tight on it. Let's go, baby. 697.20 on that short, right through that previous day low. Run the sirens. Be careful. It could continue to flush downside from here, but for me, all out. 697.20. That's how you do it. Cut the sirens. Let's go. Another day, another W. George W. Give it to me now. We'll watch for another one. This is what you have to plan this out. You got to plan it out. You got to wait. Let this thing go, but this could run through this overnight low. I could have maximized more of this win based on the way I explained it. It could be that next leg down from that previous market thing, but this is what I was trying to catch. If I can catch that every day and then I start to add size, you don't need to catch the entire move. That's what you got to be happy with what you get. And, as my wife always says, you get what you get and you don't get upset, right? This is just, she says that to the kids. But to me, I probably get stopped out just above that number anyway on some sort of divergence. I was potentially looking for a failed break of the overnight low and then a rotation back to the high side. So maybe we wait and see. We do have to pause because I do not trade within 5 minutes to the hourly close. So can't be mad at one trade, be done with that short there. Waited. I drew up this line, had my stop just above there, never took any heat on it. People wonder why I stop in. That's why I stop in, right? Great job, American. Well done. $300 a day keeps the day job away, if I'm going to be honest with you. You can see the last two trades we took. I only take one contract here on these breaks. The last two trades. Yesterday we finished up the day with one good trade for 605. Today we just caught that for 700 with minus commissions, fees, round trip 697. So it's just under $3 in commissions. Can't go wrong with that as well with the Top Step X platform. And we pretty much, look at that bounce. Beautiful catch. That's why you take your profits when you get to your levels. Don't try to get greedy. Don't be ridiculous. $700 a day is pretty nice. Can't be mad at that. And so we're looking at a nice week so far. I'm going to go ahead and lock myself out of this account. Do not want to execute anymore on this one. I have another funded that if I do execute, you'll see it. But one and done on a day is fantastic. I'm just going to be honest with you. Can't be mad at that. Normally I don't show a ton of emotion, but I'll be happy with telling you exactly why we did this, right? And I was mentioning if you felt frisky and you wanted to cheat on this through the low, through that 30, I did think that 30 was the flush point, but I wanted that confirmation below that previous day low to get us that really good flush without having any heat. Because really, if you kind of get tickled in below 30, you could have bounced. But for the most part, look at that flush. And the S&Ps helped us out. Microsoft helped us out. NVIDIA helped us out. Everything acted together. And then we take that one good trade a day and be done. So you hit that lockout button. By clicking yes below, you will be locked out from trading anymore until market open at 5 p.m. later. I will locked out, dismiss. No more trades on this account. I have realized 697.20 and I will not execute anymore on this account. So if you see me trading, it's going to be on a different account. Here's our April stats so far. So you can see today we took one trade, made 697, and we're done. Okay. So now we're on to the next. We're going to continue to, this will pop up every time. If you're new here, if you've never seen this Top Step X platform that I have been using since the beginning of April, this lockout button allows me to either avoid tilt or avoid greed or whatever. I feel the need that I want to manually click myself out and stop myself from trading for the rest of the day. My biggest issue is always over trading. That's always what got me into trouble. So for me to have to manually click that button, get myself out, be done trading for the day, then, that's just what I need to do. I did mention that, overtrading is what gets you in trouble. So if you can wait, be patient. Like I said, up here, I was interested in that short. It just happened too quick. I would have been interested in the short through 20, but VWAP was at the time below it. For some reason, it's been adjusting. I don't know why it does this on this. I don't kind of look at this right now, but it's weird how that changed. But it was below here. We were talking about it. If you go back in the stream, VWAP was down here. So I could not execute that short through that low. So we waited. We got to our level. I mentioned that we wanted to go long through here off of the bounce. But Delta, everything was telling me that this still wanted to follow through at least to that overnight low because it was heavy. NVIDIA was breaking. Microsoft was breaking. S&Ps was pushing down. I said everything here says this is probably not ready to go full rotation to VWAP quite yet because that's our normal first target. We waited. We were patient. The more I watched this, the more I saw a tilt getting heavy long. Retail was trying to get long from this low. This key level here, this 830, 830 is a key level long term for me. So I said if this cracks after that big leg down we had on Monday, then there might be a lot of follow through to the downside, at least to that overnight low. That'll give us that next leg, that next push down, because if they're going to try and get long, it's going to be through that overnight low. It's not going to be through this previous day low. So I said if we can get through, we had our sell order below here, even when this was here, and it just didn't quite get us filled because it wasn't ready yet. We got that bounce, got more people involved long, and then turned it around right here. I mentioned that if you wanted to cheat on it and get short through this level here, that 830, you could have. I waited for the full confirmation below previous day low, rotated it right to overnight low, and like I said, I called it before we even executed the trade, so I could not deviate from that plan, right? I said, if it gets through this previous day low, it'll probably be about a minute or less that it gets down to the overnight low. If that's the case, I'm going to trail onto, if it breaks 78, I'm going to trail just above it to 80, and that's where I'm going to leave my stop. If it continues to flush, great, then we can trail as it needs to. If it bounces, we'll be out, and we take that full move and take that profit. I don't set a take profit here because I want to see if it flushes through, then I can continue to get more money off of it, right? But if I'm going to trail my stop down to the spot where I think if it rotates back up, which you could see, I'll be out and wrong. So that's where I would have liked to have done it. We played the plan out exactly how we talked about it before entering, and then you just execute on having a plan. If you don't have a plan, you get a little, could I do this? Can I do that? You get a little standoffish, and then that's, an issue. I did say also that we can take it down to the overnight low, look for a delta divergence, and try and take a long. It never gave you the delta divergence, that secondary setup. It V-bottomed. So beautiful execution. Very happy with the way it played out. Now I would anticipate, based on that cleaning up of the overnight low and reclaiming 30 that quickly, a rotation up to VWAP and then possibly to overnight highs. So just watch it. Be careful. Be careful. But currently sitting up $697.20 after commissions. It was a $700 trade. We are very happy with the day. It is now officially 10 o'clock. The stream goes to 11 Monday through Friday, 8:30 till 11 Central Time. If you're Eastern Time, it's 12. I do not believe I'll be able to stream tomorrow, unfortunately. I have to cover a shift today at 2, and I'm working all the way till 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. So that whole long day, by the time I get home tomorrow morning, it'll probably be closer to 6:30. And if I fall asleep by 7, I'll be lucky. And then I will not probably make it to the chart by 8:30 because I have to go into work for 2. So I believe tomorrow's stream is going to be a no-go, but Friday we'll be right back on. We are going to, as long as we execute well on Friday, or realistically, we're probably just going to take this withdrawal on Friday. And I'm going to go through how you go through the withdrawal process through Top Step. We'll learn together, on stream, show you that it is possible to make money in these markets using prop firms, leveraging their ability to give you capital to trade, execute on your plan, become profitable, and pull money out of the market from these firms. So I consider this a pretty nice little bit of a buffer. Like I said, if we can even make one or two more good trades this week on this account, we will pull out everything probably over 2 and leave that $2,000 buffer, and then try and grow that next week, right? Every week, just trying to grow it little by little for the month of April. I've started this account on April 1st for the stream. I have 2 funded accounts. We've been focusing on this one. The other one is basically break even on some trades. I've made a couple $100 here. I lost a couple $100, made a couple $100 here. That other account, I've been kind of just testing some stuff a little bit. But this is the account that we focus on while I'm streaming, while I'm doing some stuff. So yeah, that other account's at even. So we don't really trade it in our active capacity. This is our main account. This is what we trade live every single day. So we are looking to just show you the possibility of one single mini contract, how big you could build your buffer, how fast you could, make your good trades, and simplifying it, right? All I do is make previous day highs, overnight highs, previous day low, overnight low, and VWAP. Yes, I use key levels, long-term, 30-minute daily chart levels, and those just add confluence to some of my executions, right? So this blue line here, I just drew it in just to show you and mention that this is where I'm going to put my stop. It's also where I believe that the flush will actually start, and you can see that that's probably the case here. That first breakthrough, I confirmed through the previous day low, took that short to the overnight low, right? So, we talked about it through the whole execution. So very happy with that. If you missed it, you could always rewind the stream on YouTube or even on Tradecaster. You click on the little bar, drag it back, wait for the sirens to pop up, and you'll find that short. So I'm going to just pull it up on my own screen. Just make sure, you can pull it up. I threw that short out there. It's about 14 minutes ago. That's when we took that trade. So you can rewind yourself. I said I saw that flush was coming in, big heavy delta, a lot of fills coming in. So really right now we are looking at the the same kind of setup here. If this 30 level fails again, then you may rotate down further than we just did. Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns, reasons why I took the trade I took, reasons why I wait, reason why maybe this short comes in again here, potentially, right? If you switch accounts, maybe we take it the short again. But really, I locked myself out. I would be interested in maybe shorting this here, but for the most part, I'm kind of just sitting on my hands after a good execution here. Delta's pretty good, acting heavy. Price is getting heavy again. So very well done on that short again. Failure of that 30. Failure of previous day low. If it gets through the overnight low, look out below. I hope everybody has a great day. Hopefully they've executed on some good shorts. American Sid make 340 on the day. I know Ray made about 100 and something bucks on the day. We're definitely profiting on these good, just simple levels. We are just playing this one good trade at a time. I'm telling you, it's all it takes. You don't need to hammer in and hammer in and hammer in. Don't feel that FOMO. Avoid it. You'll be fine. I promise. Really, if I wanted to withdraw, Top Step lets you withdraw 50% of your profits. So I could have taken up. Growing up, man. Yeah, it's definitely making moves. Definitely making moves. I said when I get to 50, I'm gonna start. Oh, you made 210. My bad. I thought I saw one something. I'll give you that $200 day. Hell yeah, every day, baby. Oh, you said 160 to me, so you made a couple. Oh, you made a little bit more. I like it. Jofi, you've been missing out. We met up in New York City on Friday last week, and we met with all the streamers and a bunch of viewers from Tradecaster. So it's pretty awesome to see the growth in here, and just the ability to have a great community, because everybody that we saw there, everybody we met, all the streamers, everybody who's interested in the community, they were very friendly. Everybody's willing to help each other. It was really a fantastic meetup because everybody here, especially on the Tradecaster side, I mean, YouTube is just YouTube. It is what it is. I found Tradecaster through YouTube, so for me, it is a valuable resource. However, just everybody that has committed to just coming in to Tradecaster, to be here day to day, they have a different mentality within the trading game, right? Because nobody here is the signal service. Everybody here talks through their trades. Everybody here gets to a point where they say, okay, they want to help, they want to grow, they want to build your ability to learn, without just saying you should short here now, you should buy here now. Deck calls out what he sees, what he's playing, what maybe you can do to learn how to trade like how he does, but he never says, hey, you take this trade now, you will make money, right? He just says, I'm going to do this, I'm going to execute that. Same with me, talking on my own personal terms. I just talk through why I'm not in certain zones, why I have certain levels drawn up, why I mostly play fades of key levels, because most of the time I find that breakouts fail. And like I said, today I played this breakdown, but it's really only because I believed that this overnight low was going to become a liquidity zone. So I played that quick. And with the power of one contract, with $700 on that trade, you could pay for your membership here pretty quick if you do find that value. And as I said, I think there's big things coming with Tradecaster. We did, like I said, we had the meetings, we filmed some stuff. Just look out for some big announcements. It's going to be great. I think this community is about to blow up even more so than it has. And just based on people finally seeing that trading, it's not just Lambos and Bali and all this stuff. It's the ability to live your life in a free way that you dictate on your own terms. And if you stay disciplined and you keep yourself growing and you continue to hammer out on this career path, right? You will be able to do what you want to do. It's just going to take you some time, right? Yeah, freedom is the goal, money is the tool. You couldn't have said it better any other way, man. I mean, realistically, I think that the toxic Instagram, world of trading, people don't see the whole picture. And I think coming into here and coming into Tradecaster, seeing all these guys, and I believe there's a new gal in here that is streaming, that just shows that it's a reality, it's a grind. You got to come in here and put in the work and understand what you're doing and be able to do it in a way. You're not coming into the room, and I don't have a Lambo back here. I have my family on the wall. I have my kid come in the room. Everybody's seen the curly-headed kid come into the room here and there if they've been in the chat for enough time. So it's the realities of trading, right? It's not the fantasy land. You can create that fantasy. You can do whatever you want with your money, but like I said, I think that's why Tradecaster is top guy right now, because it's just going to be a good. Oh yeah, he's going to be a killer. My oldest might, but he's in school, so he ain't learning this right now. Oh, one of them will be the athlete, the other one will be the trader, or they'll both be athletes and traders. Market's kind of giving you a lack of direction at the moment. I kind of expected that if this cracked again and held, you might get another rotation down. If it does break the overnight low again, potentially look out for a rotation. But this liquidity sweep, pop back up. If we get back above 30, then we possibly rotate back up into that area and into overnight highs. The NVIDIA did crack. It hit off at 856.11, which is one of the levels I had drawn up, and now it's trying to rotate back above 863. If you go over here to NVIDIA, you can see what I'm talking about. And if you've been here long enough, you've known that I didn't just draw this up. It's most of my equities levels are just long term. They've been there for however long I've drawn them up, but they just play out over and over and over again. So once you start to learn how to develop your own levels and understand why they kind of play out, you can understand what you want to do around them based on the whole totality of your environment, right? So that's what I look to do. I look to just get a bunch of confluences, figure out what I'm looking at. Hell yeah, good job, Jofi. You got your fundeds back or what? You traded that on your PA or you traded that on a combine? Anybody new in here that wants to learn how to trade futures, you're in the right place. Here, you could always go to Rigonometry's room. Caesar's the bomb. He's the best. I met him this weekend. He's the most real trader I've ever met. He knows what he's doing. So both places you'll find a lot about the futures and about, we both kind of push the funding side of it, right? There's no reason to risk your own money when you can come into Top Step. You can go into Apex. You can go into what's the newest one that I said? Take Profit. Go into those. Pay $50. Pay $100. You know, don't throw in your own $5-10 grand into a brokerage just to blow it, right? Learn how to trade on these platforms, and they will pay you out, right? Just be careful. Don't try to over leverage. Continue to trade properly, right? That's kind of where we're at right now. If you want to follow along and you catch one of those combines and you want to learn how to do it, and you can get funded just by watching, the stream this week, we would probably be very close to passing a combine already. So good job. I mean, you got to reset sometimes. Just got to be careful with how many times you reset, because I've done that in the past where I just started going on reset tilt where I was just like, screw it, I'm going to pass this thing. And then 3-4 accounts later, I'm like, wow, I definitely should not have done that. But those reset weeks also, as far as, small holidays, pool, relaxing, getting away from the charts, you need those, I think, too, to reset your brain. Well, yeah, especially last week, right? I know you made some stupid mistakes that you self-admitted, right? You just said that you over-leveraged, or you went on a little bit of a tilt and kind of burned a couple of accounts. That happens, but when you do that, for you to intentionally go out, take a break, reset your mind, get yourself back into the markets, that does a lot of work. It really definitely helps you, get to a point where you're going to be more in tune with what you're doing. Yeah, I think so. For me too, honestly, like, I've been feeling the market really well. I've been doing a really good job lately of waiting for my levels, waiting to time things correctly instead of just jump in. Last week, wasn't able to trade Thursday or Friday because we went up to New York. But realistically, even taking those 2 days to just interact with fellow traders and stuff, I was away from the screens, but I felt like I kind of even more honed in onto what they were doing and how I could even build off of what they're doing as well. So it's nice to kind of, even if you can't trade, be away from the screens for, if you have to be away from, I didn't even look at the charts those 2 days, honestly. Yeah, it is more relaxing. It is. I don't feel the tilt. Even like yesterday was a good example of a day that I would have probably gotten myself in trouble in the past. The first trade of the day I took, it was a full loss immediately. It was a second, right? Maybe 30 seconds I was in the trade. I had my full risk out there. The setup was good, but I kind of went to the antithesis of what I normally do. Normally I'm fading those early in the day. I'll fade an overnight high, kind of come back to view up. For some reason, I felt like the way that the market was acting, it was going to kind of break out and be a continuation day or a reversion day. Even though self-admittedly, I knew it was going to be a digestion inside day after that big move down. I took a long and then immediately failed on me and broke. Like I said, I took that full loss. In the past, I would have been like, oh, let me get right back in. I'm going to hammer this level. And yesterday I didn't do that. I took myself away from that mindset, looked at everything, planned out the next trade, looked for that next trade, got it, slowly chipped away at that win, at that loss, and then eventually caught that big win to finish my day off. But it was not like a forced win. It was just wait for that setup to come in, execute, and allow it to do its thing. And then, like I said, today I didn't trade until this execution right here, which was at excuse me, 9:51. So I didn't trade for an hour and a half almost. Waited. And I had places where I could have been like, you know what, we might be able to get it, right? Pre-market here. Normally I fade this overnight high. It just was a little bit away from it. Couldn't execute on open. Could have shorted through 20. It was above VWAP. Couldn't execute on it. Stayed away. But normally that full rotation, overnight high to overnight low, I feel like that's a good a plan for me that I like to play frequently. I could have caught it. I could have chased it. I could have done it. Did not. Waited for it. Got that final good setup for the breakdown. Played the volume break. Took my money and ran. Obviously, you see V bottom. Could have easily been at break even if I would have been patient, right? My game is play my levels, take my profits as I go, and so I'll execute on the plan, and all good for me. You know, we executed. That was from 17,816, and we exited at 1781, 781. So nice little move there. Can't be mad at it. Looking at this break of this overnight low, though, here could give you some heaviness coming in. Microsoft looking to break its low of the day. Could lead for this overnight low to kind of crack here. Just watch it. I am locked out. I'm manually locked out. As I mentioned, I'm trying to avoid that greed factor that comes in. I did see some potential for this short to come back through. It obviously is playing out again, so you could have doubled up. I was going to do it on my other account, but realistically, like I said, I'm not trading tomorrow probably because I'm not going to get home till almost 7 o'clock in the morning. So I'm going to leave here today after my stream, go in, work, come back. Let's go, Jofi. I appreciate you stopping in. It's always nice seeing you in here. We always have good conversation. Hopefully you have a better week. I mean, obviously you had a good day today, but hopefully that rest helped out. So I'll definitely see you, and not tomorrow, but Friday I'll be on. Yes, sir. Growth indeed. If we hit and hold at 50 today, I'm going to do a giveaway. So if we could hit 50 today and the majority you stay for Friday, I'm going to do a giveaway. I'm going to figure out how to structure it for Friday. But I did mention if I can get 50 people on here, I'm going to do giveaways every week, starting with those 50. Probably, depending on where you're located, it's either going to be who wins. I'm going to try and raffle off some of my Day Trading Coffee Co. company coffee or some swag, maybe a shirt, maybe some mugs. We'll see what we can get to you. It's probably going to be valued around about $100 of stuff every time I give it away. So that'll be cool. We got to get, I know he said 50. I see 48, 47. I might have seen 50, but I got to hold that 50 number for a little bit. 11 o'clock, I get off stream. Like I said, Jofi, you'll be involved. I know that you're here. You're always a communicating member. So even if you're not here Friday and we're at 50, I'll include you in the old spinaroo or however I structure the giveaway. But I'm really, I know you will be here. So I'll mention it. I'll let you know what time on Friday. Probably around 11-ish on Friday, we'll be doing the giveaway. We'll end the week nice. We'll show you how to do the payout. I'll show you a little bit about making some more money on a Friday. Like I said, tomorrow I'm not going to be on stream. So if we want to keep this up, I want to keep the viewership around that 50 mark, even bigger, better than 50. If we can get up, obviously the higher, the better, the more people in here, the better. Every little milestone, I'm going to go ahead and start doing big giveaways. So there you go. I see 51 here right now. That's always nice. I appreciate everybody coming in, stopping by, becoming a member of Tradecaster. It's a great community. And like I said, 50 people in here. It's awesome. If you're in here, hit the like or whatever the stars.
subscribe to this channel. What's up, Mello? How we doing, kid? Yeah, like I said, we're up a nice $700 on that flush of that previous day low to overnight low. We only made one trade today. Pretty much looking to just be patient with our executions, and we did. We waited about an hour and a half to actually execute. My stream goes till 11. I locked myself out. Pretty much not looking for any more executions at the moment, but I am willing to talk through the levels, talk through what I see coming, and why I believe certain things are possible with what's going on right now. Like I also said, we are at 50 viewers. So Friday, we are going to do a giveaway this week. So anybody who's in here today, come by on Friday, and I'm going to set up the giveaway. We'll do, depending on who wins, I'm going to, I can't ship coffee over to Dubai, unfortunately, Jofi. I think it'll take too long. The shipping will cost more than anything, and it'll probably get stuck in customs somehow. So once I can figure out how to ship coffee to Dubai, I'll send it over to you. But anybody in the States or in the U.S. or in Canada, Mexico, somewhere local, I'll send over some shirts, a mug, and some coffee to you guys if you win. So Jofi might get his own special prize. I am looking to try and do giveaways once a week. The more viewers, the better. If I could keep this viewership over 50 weekly, I will start to give away stuff every week. So be around, stick around. Not only will I be giving stuff away, I will be giving away good analysis on these future markets. I run through, if you're new here, I run through, I trade the NASDAQ, but I watch the S&P levels. I'll provide value for equities. I usually use Mag 7 names. So like I'd say, I watch NVIDIA, I watch Microsoft, I watch Apple. I'll give you Meta levels. I'll give you Amazon levels. If you want to talk through any sort of trades that you're looking at that I may not be looking for, just throw it out there. I'm not normally an equities guy, but I do have an equities history. I did trade with T3 on the prop firm side. I have my Series 57, so I could trade with the prop firms with their capital and whatnot. But I just found a home in futures. I just love the way I'm able to trade them, leverage these prop firms, and pull some money out of the markets. So developed a nice relationship with the NASDAQ of late. It's a love-hate relationship, but right now it's good. If you're new here, obviously, just going to kind of talk through what you're seeing here as far as my layout is concerned, because it may look different to a lot of people who are not familiar with futures, and anybody who is familiar with futures might be trading on different brokerages. So my goal here is to try and get people funded through some of these prop firms. I use TopStep. This is TopStep X. This is their proprietary platform that they have developed. So far, so good. They use TradingView charts. They have their own little tilt meter, which is kind of using the data from their... no, I don't trade options, just straight futures. So I trade just options contracts directly. But yeah, this is TopStep X. It's their own proprietary platform that they have developed. You can see up top, this is the account that you will be seeing me trade all the time. It is a funded account. It's gold. If you see it in white, or if you see other, stuff here besides Express, that means that they're not trading a live funded account, or I'm not trading a live funded account. This is the current balance as since April 1st. This is what we've made. The MLL is your max drawdown limit. Once you get over your buffer, that $2,000 buffer, this will be at zero. It'll never go anywhere else. This is the realized profit for the day, $697.20 on one trade. We made $700. It was a $2.80 commission. So that's another good reason why TopStep X is nice, because they cut commissions quite a bit. If I'm in a position, this will be the unrealized P&L. It'll go red and green, and you'll see it. And then this bar here is the daily loss limit. The closer you get to that $1,000 daily loss limit, you'll see a gold bar kind of come across and stop once you hit to 1,000. My personal daily loss limit currently is 500 with this account. I do not want to ever max out that $1,000. That's what keeps me in the game. So overall, like I said, that's what you're seeing. You would also normally see a little exclamation point right here. I'll show it to you on this account. That exclamation point right there locks you out of your account. I already have clicked it today because I have to get off my stream at 11. I'm not. Everything I see now will be chasing anything that I want to do. So I understand my trading style. I do not want to overtrade. I do not want to give anything back. We already having a decent week. There's no reason to execute another forced trade right now. And this is what you'll see. This account has been manually locked out. Trading will not be available until the next market open at 5 p.m. Central Time. So I cannot execute on here. I can click around. It won't let me do anything. It'll just say rejected, no trading allowed. It says lockout right here, manual, no trading lock, But that also, if you hit that $1,000, it'll say lockout, but it'll say not manual. It'll say because you hit your max loss limit or something like that. Watch this overnight low here. If it does kind of want to break down, you may get a good flush. Looking at the NQ, the longer term chart here. This NQ yellow dotted line level here has been support since we've broken this big breakdown, right? Israel threatened their retaliation that day. We had enough information to give us that breakthrough, that 177, that 172 level. We flushed right down into lows, and we stopped pretty much dead here at 17,829. We'll call it 830 for convenience sake. We've tried to break it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Last night, overnight, the 4th time, you got a little bit of a V bottom. You tried to get some liquidity up here at market open. And now we have cracked through that 830 level, 17,830, which is also below this shorter term downtrend, right? And the uptrend is up here, right? This uptrend since February. Oh, this is on a 5. I want to be on a 30 so you can see it a little bit cleaner. Since February, we've been on this uptrend, right? And this downtrend's been started since late March. We've been expanding. You got some more news. Once we broke through that expanded downtrend, we've now pushed into this low, right? So once we crack through here, I see a large leg up with very little resistance coming on the way up. We might have a target here below at 17,700, but my next key level is this 17,478 for downside continuation if this market wants to continue to be heavy. So that's why I'm being mindful. Like I said, this overnight low could get more sellers involved to push us lower into that 17,700 and below that, right? So that's where this first little area would be interesting, that 17,700 right here. Watch that level. And then also I mentioned that the next downside major structure level is at 17.5, we'll call it. So you have a long way down if this overnight low breaks and holds, right? So I would like to, I'm not trading anymore. I did mention that this was probably, we entered this trade right here. We took this whole move. My target was that overnight low. We took it out there. We trailed it out, which was nice. I mentioned if we fail this 30 level right here again, which is what we just did, watch out for this rotation to kind of push down and grind and even give you that big flush to at least 700, like I said, and even down into 500 is that low, really that next level low. And I don't think you hit 500 today. I think if you do get to that 700 area, you might get some choppiness and some bouncing. But there's a good chance that once it starts to get heavy, that the NASDAQ and the S&Ps love to start to roll. And the S&Ps did just break that overnight low as well. So there is some confluence going there. Microsoft broke lows and is right into my key zone at 412. If you haven't been here before, I've been mentioning this 412 level for months now. That's been a key point. So you could eyeball a bounce at 412.50. If it flushes right through here, the market might get really, really heavy, right? So we are watching that. But that 700 level, like I said, could be pretty important. Get rid of those 2 dots. I drew up this crude little blue drawing here, but that should be your next target if you are looking for downside pressure. 10:30. As I mentioned, we did have 50 viewers in here. I did say once we get to 50, we will do a giveaway. So Friday, I'm not going to be on tomorrow because I'm working from 2 o'clock in the afternoon today till 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Not really going to be able to get much sleep in between that and going back to work at 2. So Hopefully we can get and keep these viewers that we have today, and bring them into Friday. And Friday we'll do a giveaway. I'll decide on exactly what I'm going to give away. I'll make a nice little setup so we can all be on the same page. Make it a fair giveaway, raffle off some stuff, and provide some good value on some trade ideas. Right? I mentioned this right here. This overnight low break should lead us to that 700 level. If that's what happens, that's what happens. If it doesn't quite get there, you could, how I trail, I'm a very tight with my trails. I try to just secure my profits and move. Watch this, right? You could be trailing candle by candle and still be in this trade. If you are more risk averse, you are more prone to letting things run out and hit off on your targets, you could be at break even with no issues here in less than a minute, and then see where this thing goes for you to the downside. So, as you approach that 700 level, be cautious. Might run into some resistance at that level, but like I said, that 700 all the way down to 500, there's not a ton of resistance after you break through that overnight low. I'll go with that. So watch this breakdown here. If you get a nice hard break, let's see what the delta is looking like. Delta acting in unison with price. So we do still have a potential for continuation downside. This is still a heavy delta, which means that the sellers are continuing to push on this. There's some pressure here. Like I said, I think that if you do get to break 717 down to 700, so that 720 level down to 700, that's an area, that's a zone that's going to be something to watch. But all the way down to 478, but I'll round it up to 500 as that next downside level, right? Yeah, no options, purely futures in here. But like I said, I do run through analysis of a lot of different things. So futures, options is just a lot of information. I've done it before. I think it is a really great tool. I don't do it. I've found my niche in futures, and that's what I do. I'm going to start adding in different setups and also different instruments. Like I want to start adding some crude into my setups. I may do some trades on S&P just because it sets up better than the NASDAQ. But you'll see it as I do it. I do everything here live on Tradecaster, live on stream. So it's always going to be a nice little setup for you guys, so you can see exactly what I do when I do it. I appreciate everybody coming into the room, stepping up, having good conversation. We are providing as much value as possible here on a day-to-day basis. Try and keep you out of bad trades. Try to get you into A-plus opportunities and teach you that you don't need to make a dozen trades a day to be able to profit in this market, right? For the week, we're up pretty nice, over $1,000 for the week, 3 days. What do we got? Let's see, performance stats, daily balance, nice little up and to the right equity curve, right? On a day-to-day basis, we traded 3 days this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We went 212, 523, and 697. So we're on a nice little up equity curve. We have one losing day this month, and we manually locked ourselves out after we hit off on that $500 loss for ourselves. We felt ourselves over trading a bit. Could I have came back and made a little bit on this one? Yes, I could have, but once I hit that number, locked myself out, got myself out of there. So this is just proof that all you need, I think they double up, they just do executions. So most of these days, one trade, 2, 1, 6 trades on that day, a little bit over trading. Yeah, if you just, it's so nice, American. I believe it in my heart that you don't need to go crazy. Everybody watches like YouTube and Instagram, and they see these people making $10,000, $20,000 a trade. And yes, it's possible, But you need such big capital numbers. And most people that come into these rooms, most people that are on Instagram, they don't have accounts like that. There's no way you could have an account like that. If you have an account like that, you're not watching those people do that because you're doing it on your own, right? So we get influenced easily by those, influencers who are out there, showing you that they're making those kind of crazy numbers. And yes, I do believe that they do that. Like, let's say like Stock Market Wolf, that guy is great. He does show his trades, and it's great for him. He made $1 million in a trade. Good on him. But you're not going to do that. Maybe not yet. At some point, maybe. But $200 to $500 a day, you just got to be really content with your executions. And then as you continue to make good executions, make 200, make 500, make 200, make 5, make 4, make 1, lose 2. Yeah. He made $800K in a trade. But he's been doing it for so long. His account sizes are so big. You can't leverage your account enough to be able to safely make anywhere near that. So understand your current situation, understand what you're trading, know what you can do with what you have, and just be more prone to doing good as far as executions are concerned. Lean towards that. The money follows, right? If you don't pay attention to the dollar amount, then you'll be fine. Obviously you have to pay attention. You have to know how to manage your risk, right? So, we do what we have to do as far as our account size is concerned. But overall, execution should always be the same. As this account grows, let's say this account, I get it to 5K by the end of the month, even after taking some withdrawals. Maybe I'll scale up to 2 or 3 contracts. And then instead of it being 600, it's 1,200 or, $2,000 on one little move. But it's only because I can position the size a little bit bigger. I could risk a little bit more to be able to get a little bit more on the win, but the execution is always going to be the same. So that's what you got to try and remember. Try and just execute, and do it the same every single day. Yeah. I appreciate you coming in here, and I try to keep it as real as possible, right? I think a lot of people, they try to sell something that they're not. And I think, like I said, I'm going to mention it again, the meetup. You were able to see people in person, and you were able to see that they're not playing characters on this stream. Everybody there was the same person they are on the stream as they are on the street. And, being able to talk to people and see what their goals are and see what their strategies are and what they're looking to do on a day-to-day basis. It's really just try to help everybody in this Tradecaster community. So it's really great. Like, once I get off here at 11, if somebody else is streaming, if you pop off into AK's his afternoon class, you might be trading futures, but you're learning. Trading is trading across every single way you do it, right? Mello was mentioning options. I don't trade options, but you can use my strategy and all of that to play your option strategy. As long as you know how to structure it correctly, you can use my levels. You could use how I go about doing things on a day-to-day basis, and you can use it on equities. You could use it on options. You could use it on futures, Forex, whatever. It kind of goes around. All right, I appreciate that. Everything I do is for everybody in this stream, because eventually, I want to be able to make money trading. I don't want to sell a course. If you want to learn from me, I'm going to just teach it. I'm not going to hide nothing. It's just how it goes. I think honesty is the best policy in my world. I am a native Italian New Yorker, so loyalty runs in our veins a little bit, if you know what I mean. So I just stick to that. All you have is your word. And if you lose that, then you lose everything. So for me, I just come in here every day and I do the same thing all the time. I include my family and my kids because they're here. They're a part of it. I'm not going to put a high rise in the background. I'm not going to do any of that. My son pops in. You have to learn how to trade through distractions as well. So you can't blame anybody but yourself. So if you have those distractions and you don't know how to manage it, learn how to manage it or only trade around it, right? Microsoft, I mentioned, if you look at it, right off that 412, that zone, If you've been on this stream before, you've seen it. Microsoft, that zone has played out time and time and time and time again. So if you play bounce plays or breakouts or whatever, like, just be mindful of these levels. Learn how to draw them up yourself. Learn how to find them out. I will probably teach and everything. Where in Brooklyn did you live? Head back to the futures chart. New lots. Word. I worked in Brooklyn. I worked in the Marcy, Tompkins, Sumner projects. And then I was in the, where was I at? The downtown Brooklyn area, those housing projects. Dumbo. So I was northern Brooklyn. My wife worked in Brooklyn South, down there in the Flatbush area. So familiar with Brooklyn. Where you live at now? You still in New York, or you left? Hell yeah. Where? Same here. Oh, you're in Austin. Nice. I am in the Houston area, but if I do end up doing a meetup at all, which I would love to do once the stream grows a bit, I would like to try and do stuff like how Deck does in Austin, in Utah, and how we just did in New York. If we could run something together, maybe down in Austin or up in Dallas, or even over here in Houston, or somewhere midway between all three, I may run something like that in the future when I'm able to kind of have more time on my hands. Absolutely. Texas is big, but it's also, you can get to places. And I think I also, like I said, I have some ideas with the wife. With the coffee company, we will eventually look to do a physical location. Right now we just do drop shipping, right? Kind of like Black Rifle. But we want to do a physical store, a Day Trading Coffee Co. store, but part of it's going to be a co-trading space. So it's going to be pretty cool. I don't know how many years down the line that's going to be, if it'll be sooner rather than later, but we'll see. It's definitely something that's been interested. I've always been interested in having a co-trading space type place where people can kind of come in. It doesn't have to be trading. They can come in, do business, whatnot, but make it a more professional atmosphere for like the coffee shop environment, and provide some good value. Maybe do some in-person teachings, have some events, do stuff like that, but also provide some good coffee. So that's what we're looking to do. If you're here Friday, if you're here now and you hit off on that 50 viewer mark today, so Friday, I'm trying to continue to hold that. If we could hold the 50 viewers or get close to it on Friday, everybody that was in here today will be entered into the giveaway for Friday, because I did mention that we would do it, so we will do it. We hit off on 50 today, so we will move that over to Friday to do the giveaway. Blue Mountain Coffee, only from Jamaica. I've heard of Blue Mountain Coffee. I just never, I don't think I've ever had that one specifically. I know that the Jamaican coffee is pretty strong, though. Most of our beans we get, we have an assortment of places that we get them from: Colombia, Ethiopia, Guatemala, a couple other spots, but those are the main spots, main sources. I do have a family friend that's in Ecuador that I may go down to their coffee, their farm that they grow their beans at, and I would like to see if I could source from there as well. There's so many good places that people don't know about as far as when it comes to coffees, and there's so many different regions and different types. We offer 10 different blends or 10 different roasts. Some of them are single origin, some of them are blends. Like our espresso is a blend a little bit. Most of our dark roasts are single origin. I heard it's good. And not, like I said, I don't know about Blue Mountain, but like Jamaican coffee in general, I've heard is pretty good, pretty strong. My wife is from South America, but didn't really get into coffee as much until we were together. She was a coffee person, but not as much as my crazy coffee addiction started in college, playing college baseball. Pretty much, my mom. As growing up as a kid, my mom would always have coffee brewing in the background in the morning, so I'd always smell it, always love it. Didn't start drinking it until college, playing college baseball. Right, you get up in the morning, 4 or 5 a.m. trying to go to practice, get a coffee. This was a pre-energy drink. Obviously there was Red Bull and Monster and stuff, but I wasn't that kind of fan of those things at the time. So I was drinking coffee before practice. I was drinking coffee during class, and then we'd have we'd have lift in the morning. So we'd lift in the morning, you'd have coffee beforehand. Then you'd go to class, you'd have coffee during class so you could stay awake. Then you have practice after class. Then you have lift again later. I was just hammering coffee. I got myself addicted pretty young. And I went from having like flavored coffees all the way now. All I do is drink black coffee all the time. My wife drinks all espressos and all those lattes and stuff. But for the most part, I'm a black coffee drinker. So you really become in tune with like the flavors and the profiles of all the coffee after all the years of just being addicted to it and going straight black. You really want to enjoy a coffee instead of just drinking for the milk flavor, right? All right, give me 1 minute. I'll come back in and we'll sign off real quick. Give me 1 second. Gotta take care of something. Like I said, I think we run into some resistance here. 720 down to 700. You probably do get a little bit of a continuation to 700. I don't think we get all the way to 5 today, 17.5. But we do have some heaviness, right? Since that open, if you shorted that open and never looked back, if you just closed your computer and decided to come in now, you would be up quite nice. Even on a single contract. My rotations are usually I look to rotate on a day like today or other days where I find it to be rotational or like a range bound type day. I like to rotate from overnight high to overnight low. That's my normal go-to, right? Overnight high to overnight low. You see it was a pretty clean move, and you could have top ticked and bottom ticked that and been, if you had your sell here and your buy order there, you pretty much would have come back and seen, oh, wow, that was a very nice, clean move for the most part. Took no heat on any part of that move to the downside. I'm going to get rid of these trend lines. Kind of just draw them up just to visualize them for people. This blue line here I did mention was the key level from the longer term chart that I brought up before. That 17,829 and a quarter. We'll call it 30. That's what I said was the key line in the sand for our breakdown. And that's where we could have caught the short from up there, gave ourselves another, 15 points, which would have been nice. But realistically, I waited for that full confirmation below that previous day low and took it to the overnight low. And that was that. As I mentioned, the secondary push to the downside, once we broke back down through it again, I said you probably could short down into that 17,700 level. So I think we probably do get this breakdown from this. One more little leg down, at least to that 700-ish. It's 720 to 700 is that little bit of a chop. So just watch for that level to get tagged. I don't know if it'll flush it. Like I said, also, my zones, I don't have another level until 17,478, which I call 500. So you do have another 200 points of just straight downside once you get through here. Overall, if that's what you're playing for the day, kind of just, that's the kind of day that it is. I'm in and out. I'm a scalper. I just really like to keep this as simple as possible. Now I'll call out these levels to you guys and tell you what I see and what I don't see. Most of the time, I'm not going to toot my own horn or anything like that, but most of the time my levels are pretty solid. It's just a matter of how you want to execute around them. The days I get myself in trouble, I'll either execute nowhere near my zone. I'll enter, dead center of a range, right at VWAP or something. That's when you'll start to see me get into some trouble. And my levels, sometimes, like yesterday, the first trade of the day, instead of normally playing it the way I do where I play the fade, I'll try and play the breakout or something and, get run over. So yesterday, like I said, that first trade of the day was not that it was an error. It was just all based on the way I felt the market environment was going. And I just picked the wrong side of it to start. And then now we're looking at yesterday I made a really good recovery, didn't FOMO, had good executions, and was able to recover nicely. Today, we were super, super patient, only executed one trade, waited for that level to come into play, and played it how we anticipated. And now, could come in another day and have tried to short this, and it plays out exactly how my divergence plays, and it fades me and runs me over at 30, which it didn't, right? And we just kind of were patient and played level to level. So most of the time, I'm going to tell you my levels are very reactive. You'll see things happen around these levels time and time and time again. I want you to understand that I am not a signal service. I am not here to tell you to take everything I take because it's almost impossible, right? I'm sure the stream is delayed by a couple seconds, but I do talk through my trades well before I'm executing, so you'll be able to kind of set yourself up if you want to see it, if you want to do it on a sim, or you feel like you trust what I'm doing, whatever. If you want to fade me, if you want to, like I said, if you're somebody who likes to get in early, I mentioned when you should get in early. I mentioned when you should not play around in a certain level. If moves happen, it doesn't mean that you missed a trade. It just means that you didn't have what you needed to set yourself up for success, right? So, like I said, I'm not a signal service. I'm going to provide these levels on a daily basis. I'm going to talk through why and where I want to execute and the reasons behind all of it. And then if you decide that that doesn't line up with your strategy, then don't do it. You don't need to take trades from people. You need to learn how to do this on your own, because if you go out and I'm like tomorrow, I'm not going to be on here. I won't. And some days, if you're following Deck religiously, he's not going to be on. He's going to be doing all his other things that he has to do that he's busy with. Some days he's not going to be able to trade. So you're not going to be able to get on and follow exactly what he's doing. So you need to be able to learn how to do it. I mean, I understand maybe the levels sometimes are not easy, but my levels are pretty much self-explanatory, right? If you learn anything from me, learn that all I do is mark up previous day high, overnight high, previous day low, overnight low, and then I use other key long-term levels to help. So if I'm not on, learn how to do it yourself. If you're, solely reliant on a streamer, which I don't think you should be. If you're in a room, a Discord or something where they're just hammering out signals, I'm not opposed to you using their signals to kind of understand what they're seeing, but don't be solely reliant on a signal service. You want to learn how to do this and be able to do it on your own and grow your own account in the way that you find proper, right? I'm going to be off the stream in about 4 minutes. My son is just getting home. Well, one of my kids, he was out at a class with my wife, but he wants to come on. He always likes to come on and say goodbye. So he'll come on the stream and say what's up. So until he comes on and says goodbye, we'll be on here. We made a solid one trade today. It was $700 prior to commissions. The beautiful thing about Top Step X is they limit the commissions pretty much to nothing besides the normal, commissions, not commissions, the normal fees from there. So we are up $697.20 with $2.80 round trip. Can't beat it with minis. Oh my gosh, he comes bearing gifts. Come on here. Come on, get over here, cookie boy.
Hi, traders.
Hi, traders. Hey, everybody. Did you
Where is me?
There you are.
Hi.
There you are.
Hi.
Say hi, everybody. Say
Hi, everybody.
say Friday we're gonna do a giveaway.
We're Friday. We're gonna do a great way.
A giveaway.
Yeah, give it away.
Giveaway. We're gonna give Max. We're gonna raffle Max off, and he's gonna come to your house and trade with you. He's gonna teach you how to trade.
Ah, yeah.
Did you do a ninja class today?
Ah, yeah, yes.
Yes. All right. All right. So we stream what every day till 11, and then what do? We go get lunch,
Yeah.
and then Daddy goes to work. Oh, we don't punch on the stream. That's not nice. All right. I'll see you later. Okay, buddy. We're gonna say goodbye to the streams, and then we'll be back on Friday. Okay. Oh, and we got cookies. Okay, he's giving me cookies first.
Max, come. We got a fruit in the plate. Come on.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So the little man has spoken. He said, "Good job today, everybody." He also said that we are going to do a giveaway on Friday for hitting off on 50 streamers today, 50 viewers today. We will look to grow this. I am mentioning today that I will not be on tomorrow because I will not be awake. I stream till 11 today. I'm going to go to work from 2 till 6 a.m. tomorrow, and then back at 2 tomorrow afternoon. So back on rested Friday. We're having a really great week. A nice month so far. Green month. One losing day so far this month. So, overall, just stick to your plan. If you're going to trade the rest of the day, be cautious through lunch hour. As I mentioned, you may have a target down there around that 700, from 720 to 700, but you may run into some resistance there. I also said that if that flushes down to 500 is my next real key level. So if we continue this sell side environment over the next few days, watch those levels for the week moving forward. If you start to catch a bounce and start to rotate back upside, watch those previous day highs and overnight highs. And then obviously if we get back up into that 830 level above there, up into 18,000, obviously is that probable intraday level that you were going to be watching. So until Friday, come back here. If you want to be a part of the giveaway, I'm going to have to get you to comment on a post that I'm going to do on Instagram, do a couple follows, and just mention something in here in the chat. So until Friday, I'll set everything up. I'll make it all good and dandy so everybody's equally able to win the giveaway, and we'll go from there. So like I said, 8:30 to 11, up a nice $697 on the day, up over $1,000 on the week. We'll show you how to do a withdrawal on Friday as well with this Top Step account. So until then, I will talk to you all Friday. Trade good, trade well, execute around your levels, and don't go on tilt. All right? Avoid that lunch hour tilt, and you'll be just fine. Friday, I'll see you guys all there. American, good conversation. Everybody who came by, I appreciate you. Tell your friends and your family about Friday because we'll be doing that giveaway. All right? Until then, I'll talk to you all later. Deuces.